Okay. You guys get quiet quick. My name is Damon Hernandez. Thank you all for coming to the AEC Hackathon in not Helsinki, but as an American, most of us don't know where Finland is, so it was easy enough just to say Helsinki because Espoo is, where's that? Just to share, the AEC Hackathon is a community that is initiated by amazing people. I am not an event planner. My background is in technology, but I work with a construction company. And so the idea originated as how do we bring together technologists with people from not just architecture, engineering, and construction, but all parts of the built environment. AEC just made for a shorter URL than builtenvironmenthackathon.com. So we do include geospatial facilities management and all of those other areas. So I do want you to think not just for architecture, engineering, and construction, but as we have here, things like for Internet of Things and other parts, smart cities. So really think of all of these different areas when you're looking at how do we innovate and again, solve real world problems. And that is the goal of this event. It is to have fun, but the AEC Hackathon has always been about how do we build solutions that can be implemented on Monday. And so for the professionals that are from the built environment sectors, I do look to you to come up during the lightning rounds or throughout, hopefully tomorrow, to say, these are the problems that we have. This is what this industry and what this event, is for. It is for you. It is not for necessarily the technologists like myself. We are here to help you solve your problems, right? And again, and to go fun with it. As some of you have seen, we have devices in the other room. We have virtual reality headsets and things like that. The Google Project Tango people gave us 10 Project Tangos to use in your hacks. So if anyone's interested. So again, make the most out of this weekend, have fun, but really solve some industry problems. The community has grown from one little event at Facebook to this is now our 11th event with another one next week back in San Francisco. And it's very surreal. As a person who thought that the first event would be 8 of my friends, it's great to see that this has actually turned into an international community of several hundred. Definitely if you're ever in the US and things like that, feel free to come and visit. Also, for those that are interested, there have been things that the community has shared under Hacker Resources. So these are projects that have been open sourced or just things that you can access as far as information here. Of course, I would prefer you guys hack with data that's available to you here from Finland. But if any of you want to build on some of these other projects, again, this is where the community is all about sharing these solutions. Because even though you have different problems here, there are some that are just the same problems. So with that said, I do want to thank our hosts, Tekla and Trimble, for giving us this space. Again, this is community initiated by awesome people like Teemu and others. And all of the proceeds from this event essentially go back into providing the food, the drink, and then the prizes. So it is really nice that we have people like Tekla that are able to facilitate this space. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Kim, who I believe has a few words for us.
Yeah, okay. So welcome from my part as well. You also see the video, so you know why we are doing this. And we've done some of our own hackathons within Trimble. We had one a few weeks ago with 380 people. Which was a global event and with some really cool online collaboration. But to have this many people in one room is really awesome. So I'll be helping out hosting this. We have Leif Granholm here somewhere over there. So we are kind of the two main responsibles. We'll try to be here all the time. Anne has been doing a tremendous job helping out. And Risto Räty, the head of building and construction unit in Tekla, is the sponsor, corporate sponsor. So, well, I'll put the video up and running. So in Finnish we have a saying, kenen viskejä juot, sen dioja katselet. So I have a 2-hour video.
What does that mean?
The one that's offering the whiskey after watches pictures.
All right.
Anyway. So anyway, it's a bit about Trimble. It's been around for a while. Where did the audio go? Oh,
It's muted.
Let's
Turn it back out.
yeah, there we go.
Turn it-
See if we don't break your ears here. No idea what the volume is. Okay, that's what, I don't know how many, 8,000 people are working with in this company. Christoph, you want to say a few words?
Right, welcome to Finland Espoo Tekla. We are happy to host you. Great venue, have fun during the weekend. Hope you will see Tekla office to be good for this purpose. Happy to do it again if you like. So thank you for coming. Have a good weekend.
Awesome. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I definitely, I don't know, does everyone know Teemu? Here? No? Okay, so this is the person to really thank for bringing this here. Again, yeah, exactly. For those that haven't seen the Facebook, he has done a phenomenal job through promotion, through the videos, making it look professional. He has definitely put the rest of us to shame with all the other events. So I definitely thank you for setting the precedent there. And again, he's the one who brought it here. So please, if you would like, just share a little bit of housekeeping items and some other things.
And I also want to thank Jaakko over there, because he just came somewhere to help me, and I wouldn't be able to do this alone myself. So thanks. Some housekeeping rules. So about the toilets, they're behind this wall, and there's some more on the hallway down there. Smoking, if there's smokers, you have to go outside. In the front, there's a place for that. But make sure that somebody is opening the door for you when you want to come back in. Then about these spaces, we have this auditorium for AEC workshops tomorrow. Then we have the cafeteria area for tech workshops tomorrow. And then the hack teams can find any space they like. There's a lot of conference rooms. We have the 6th floor available for us as well. So wherever you want to work, that's up to you. then about trash. We have trash bins all over. There's two kinds of bins. One for bottles and cans and the other for other trash. So please take your trash to those bins and keep the space clean for us. Thanks. So, and I'm the guy who's gonna make sure that you guys have food and drinks and snacks and everything's running smoothly. So if you have any questions, come to me. Thanks.
And then also just a shout out again to the sponsors that did participate and help make this happen, which is very, very nice. And then also the supporting organizations down here as well. One of the interesting things about the hackathon is that as it has grown, the interest from the different stakeholders that are involved with everything from the representation of data to smart cities and other things have started to engage the community as well. So really what's always neat is that what happens at these events, and especially at this one, because of, essentially if I heard the statistics correctly, Finland spends more money on R&D for AEC than all of the United States. And that, I know in the US that the American fishing industry spends more on R&D than AEC. No pressure, no pressure. But again, so thank you to all the sponsors that also made this happen. And also our great speakers that we will have over the course of the weekend. And with that said, we are going to kick off with a serious reality check, it sounded like. So perhaps we should have served beer instead of soda and things like that. So
You're getting beer after this, don't worry.
Hey, that Finnish saying that I can never pronounce.
I'm going to early.
Sure.
Okay. I already have my beer. What are you guys up to? Okay, so I am Bruce Orrick. Some of you may know me as formerly the U.S. Ambassador to Finland. So let me tell you about some things relative to me you don't know. I have been in the building business for 20 years. I've done historic rehabilitations. I was in charge of all the historic buildings in the city of New Orleans back in the 80s. I've done high performance buildings, zero carbon buildings, zero energy buildings, off-grid buildings. I'm here as the U.S. Ambassador. I built the first LEED Platinum embassy anywhere in the world. I get construction. I get high performance. I'm a member of the executive board of the USGBC. So while I could talk to you about building technology, that's not what I'm going to do. Can you see this? What I'm going to give you is an abbreviated, a shortened form of a long lecture series I did just recently at Harvard. And I'm going to give you the punchline now. We are solving the wrong problem. We're trying to continue to do what we're doing, and I'm about to show you that that doesn't work. And therefore, if you're going to break things and hack things, you ought to be breaking the right things and hacking for the right problems. The serious business, sorry, that's why I have my beer. So this sort of comes off the screen and says, people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. That's Nietzsche. So oh, there we go, okay. So here's the truth. Come on, help me out here, guys. I'll give you a moment to catch up, all right? Turn this so I can see where we both are together. Yeah, okay. That's about as much fun as we're going to have. And the title of the talk I just gave at Harvard, and again, this is a very short slice of that, was Don't Worry, It's Not the End of the World. Just the end of ours. And I'm going to prove this to you. So let's start here. we turn the volume up?
Yeah.
Our planet is vast. It's difficult to comprehend the scale. It's difficult, too, to comprehend the scale of humanity and the vast changes we've wrought in a lifetime. Population, production, and consumption have grown exponentially. Roads, railways, airlines, shipping routes, the digital revolution. We've created a globally interconnected society. Evidence is mounting, we've entered the Anthropocene. Humanity is altering Earth's life support system. Carbon dioxide emissions are accelerating. Greenhouse gas levels are unprecedented in human history. The climate system is changing rapidly. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change assesses the risks and options for societies. Its latest report states it is extremely likely humans are the dominant cause of warming in the past 60 years. Without deep emissions cuts, it is likely Earth will cross the target of 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, the target set by international policy. This could happen as early as 2050. If emissions keep rising at current rates, a 4-degree rise by 2100 is as likely as not. It's very likely heat waves will occur more often and last longer. The Arctic will warm faster than the global average. It's likely sea ice will all but vanish in summer within decades if high emissions continue. It's very likely sea level rise will accelerate. Cities and coastal areas are vulnerable. In general, wet regions are set to get wetter, dry regions drier. Monsoons are likely to become longer, their footprint likely to grow, and downpours likely to intensify. The acidity of the ocean has increased 26% since the start of the Industrial Revolution. The full consequences of all these changes on the Earth system are unknown. Humanity's carbon footprint is huge. Societies will need to adapt to climate change. The scale of change depends on decisions made now. Can we remain below 2 degrees? It is possible, but it is up to societies now to decide the future we want. For a likely chance of achieving the 2-degree target, societies can emit another 250 billion tons of carbon. We burn about 10 billion tons of carbon a year. At current rates, we will use this budget in about 25 years.
And those figures are out of date. I don't know if you read the papers, but China just acknowledged that it is in fact burning 17% more coal than it had admitted to in the past, which if you were going to just use these numbers would say you can't do it for 25 years, you might be able to do it for 20. But this is the IPCC, and they're very conservative. So let's look at some numbers. This is historical. This is not a projection, this is history. There's the year. The red will be 2 degrees abnormality in temperature. And you'll see normal patterns, heating, cooling, and starting about 1970, watch what happens. And if I took it and ran it to the 2015 year, you'll see that it simply gets worse. I took the projections out of here because I just didn't have time for that, but it doesn't look better. That's not a theory, that's history. And for those who are not centigrade centric, 2 degrees centigrade is approximately 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was more likely than not we would have a 4-degree centigrade rise by the end of the century, which basically means vast amounts of the planet Earth will no longer support us. Come on. No, I'm good. I guess I did better. Sorry. Hang on. I always hang on. Where's the mouse? Where's the wireless?
In the back.
Pull that on. Thank you. Okay. This is from NASA. This is historical, going back basically 400,000 years. And then you have this. And actually, this is out of date. It's now over 400. So it's not just the volume of CO2 in the air, it is also the speed at which this change has occurred. It's unprecedented in history. The last time you had levels this high basically was at the end of the reign of the dinosaurs, but not while we've been here. This is the proceedings of the National Academies of Science. And I'm not a fun guy, I read this kind of stuff. And I'm going to ask you a question. That was a brand new issue. What do these cities have in common? I just gave this talk at Harvard, so I just kept the American cities, but they're also European cities. What do all these cities have in common?
They'll go underwater.
Actually, it's worse than that. By 2100, more than 25% of their population-weighted areas will be below high tide, no matter what we do now. You lost. The game is over. You've already emitted so much temperature absorbed into the ocean and the greenhouse project. If you stopped emitting carbon, if tomorrow we went away, 25% of the populated areas of these cities in the U.S. are already dead men walking. And I could pull up the same thing for Europe and cities all over the world. And that's the best case scenario. That's the best case scenario. Today in the world, every single day, 180,000 people move to a city somewhere on the planet. Every day, 180,000 people move to a city. And the vast majority of the cities, of course, are on the coastline. 75% of all megacities are on coastlines. Within about 15 years, almost 10% of the population of the planet will live in the 41 megacities. And almost half the population living on coastlines. Those are facts. I have hours of facts. I pick your, there's no disputing the science here. Those are the facts. I want to go through a couple myths. Myth number one. Our clean, renewable energy future will save us. No, it won't. And let me explain why. By 2040, per capita in China is expected to be 4 times higher than it is in 2010, 3 times higher in India, and 1 to 2 times higher in key growth economies such as Turkey, Mexico, that sort of thing. Which means they're going to be buying a lot more stuff. And the stuff they buy requires more of everything, such as the 60-lane highway that China just built and now was stuck in a traffic jam that lasted for 2 weeks. Give you an example. U.S. took us 100 years, car-crazy culture, to go from 0 cars to 250 million passenger vehicles. In 1999, China, with 1.3 billion people, had only 15 million cars. Which means they could have, at that point, designed any kind of transportation system their brains could have thought of. Maglevs, people movers, anything. But what did they do? They built 60-lane highways, and in 10 years, they went from 15 million to 240 million cars. And still growing. Population. OECD You know what that is, Europe, West developed countries, China, India, key growth. You can get kind of flat, but look at this. It's still climbing. It's going to go from the whatever 6 billion in 2000 to the estimated just shy of 9 billion in a few years. And what does that mean? Energy demand in BTUs, and you don't really care how it's measured. Like you can see Europe, the West, is dropping. China's growing, but trailing off a little bit. But it doesn't matter. Look what's happening. The pattern is up. If we actually put into effect the energy savings that we talk about, that's what we do. And if we don't, our energy consumption follows much closer to that line. This, by the way, not my numbers, and it didn't come from some tofu-eating, sandal-wearing hippies. This comes from Exxon. Chemical demand by region. US, OECD, you can see, very flat, we said that, I think, but the rest of the world, chemicals, plants, plastics, fertilizers, oils, lubricants, all of which come from fossil fuels. And every time you pull a gallon up, right, or a liter up, you're desequestering carbon. Electrical demand. And this assumes we put into place the efficiencies. Now this is a complicated chart, but bear with me. Basically what this is showing you is look at coal, right? That's the bad guy. While for us, OECD countries, the percentage of coal is clearly dropping, it's still immense for China, and this is now, we know, understated by almost 20%. Going up in India, up in key growth, up in the rest of the world. There's no diminishment in our rate of consumption of polluting fuels. Right? The nice lady with the pretty pictures, if we cut it back, we even make 2%. Well, yeah, but you're not. CO2 emissions. Up, right? This is where we are now, somewhere in here. Even in the doing all this good stuff, it's higher. It's not dropping, it's going up. Non-OECD CO2 emissions surpassed OECD emissions in 2004, meaning the rest of the world's doing worse than we are. And they're expected to rise for the next 25 years by 50%. So myth number one, we got the energy thing. We don't got the energy thing. We got the CO2 thing. No, we don't got the CO2 thing. The numbers, all of the numbers are moving against us. Every single one. And just before we start blaming the Chinese or blaming the Americans, let's just go ahead and jump on Volkswagen. And you know what the governmental response to that was? In Europe, to protect jobs? We'll just change the standard. We'll give them a pass. Oh, so the myth number two, sustainable development goals. A term which, although good for the heart, is in fact laughable in truth. The word sustainable means you can keep doing what you're doing forever. Well, you can't keep doing what you're doing, let alone forever. Here's an interesting one, just so you know. We make 50 billion plastic bottles a year, 60% of which are not recycled, which means 30 billion go into the landfills. And even the ones that are recycled, we still consume 73 billion, strike that, 73 million barrels of oil every year, making them, shipping them. That's not sustainable. You recycle your bottle, you still use you desequester the carbon, and where do you think this stuff ends up? 8,000 metric tons a year of which 80% starts on land, ends up in the ocean. In 10 years, we'll be dumping 1 ton of plastic waste in the ocean for every 3 tons of fish. But hey, I recycle. I was just up in Coley for the Coley Forum. One of my co-speakers, Janusz Potecnik, the co-chair of UNEP's International Resource Panel, and I'm just going to give you one slide of his. Okay, this quadrant in the pale green is what is biocapacity, or a sustainable pathway. You might notice that this is where everybody's going. China's just getting started. There's basically nobody in this area could go higher, and everybody above has to drop down. It's not going to happen. Myth number 3. We have time. You don't have time. We as creatures, as human beings, biologically, we think in a linear fashion. Whether I'm 10 years old or 60 years old, a minute is 60 seconds, a day is 24 hours, 365 days in the year, and we think of our lives and everything around us in a linear form, so we have time to study and think and debate. But in fact, everything's shifted to exponential. And let me digress for a minute and explain exponential change. If I take the morning newspaper, the Helsinki Sanomat, Wall Street Journal, whatever it is, a piece of newsprint paper is approximately 0.001 centimeters thick. And if I stack it, it's 0.002, 0.003, 0.004. And the average, let's say that the average paper today has 46 pages. That means it's 0.046 centimeters when you stack it up. That's a linear progression. But now let's talk about exponential. I'm going to fold the newspaper. Flat sheet, fold it in half. 001 to 002. I fold it again, 002 to 004, right? After 10 folds, it's already 2.2 centimeters tall. Second, after 10 folds, after 10 folds, it's 2.2 centimeters. After 17 folds of the newspaper, it's a meter tall. And after about 25 folds of a newspaper, a piece of newspaper folding it 25 times, it's as tall as the Empire State Building in New York. And if you could fold a piece of newspaper, 0.001 centimeters thick, if you could fold it 45 times, it would reach from the Earth to the Moon, and that 46th fold would take you all the way back to the Earth. Linear, 0.046, exponential to the Moon and back. And that's where everything has happened. Our consumption patterns, our usage patterns, our growth patterns, we move beyond linear and we're in the exponential times. So, for example, you can get this from a lot of different sources, these numbers. By 2030, in 15 years, you need 50% more energy. Where is that coming from? And please don't tell me solar panels. You need 40% more water and 35% more food in 15 years. Now, I'm all for changing from fluorescent bulbs to LEDs. Believe me, I really am. But to allow myself to believe that I've solved the problem is nonsense. This is the 2014 Global Risk World Economic Forum report. And here's what they say. They say, in every sector, the demand for water is expected to increase. Analysis suggests the world will face a 40% global shortfall by 2030 across all sectors. A 40% shortfall in fresh water, on average, around the globe, not every place, but on average, in 15 years. Just so you know, that is by definition a systemic risk, one that causes systems to break. And it is of such a magnitude that it is also defined as a hystereistic risk, one that causes a system to break and it can't be fixed. Population is growing at a 3x rate, water consumption at a 6x rate. Myth number 4, there's a magic technology out there. Somebody's working on it. Man, the future is just around the corner. Really? Let's just take the water one for a minute. To get ocean water to fresh water means you've got to build a desalination plant, which is incredibly energy intensive. So you're using more energy to make more water. And you got to build the plants, which is very expensive. And then you got to build pipelines to pipe the water around places where we're no longer getting any water. And you're going to deal with a 40% shortfall in 15 years? How long have they been building the damn subway from Helsinki station to the airport? Couldn't even get it there. What is it, 500 meters short? You know, there's a technology out there. Well, there's a confusion between technology and magic. They're different words. They mean different things. But if you really, really want to bet that you can technologically keep on doing what you're doing just by being clever engineers, then the following slide is for you, because every once in a while you need a rainbow butterfly unicorn kitten. You will not fix this by doing what we're doing. You can't. It's magic, not science, to believe that you can keep on doing what you're doing. I can show you stats on, do you know that China used more cement, I think it was in 5 years, than the US used in the last century? Look at hog production, food production. I mean, there isn't a number that's trending in our favor here. But if we recycle enough bottles, I'm sure we can keep on doing it. Before the truth can set you free, you need to know which false beliefs are holding you hostage. And the false belief that is holding us hostage is that we can continue to be in the world the way we are being. And we can't. Mother Nature has a longer and sterner sense of justice. In the 4 billion years of the Earth's history, there have been 5 mass extinctions having nothing to do with us. Over 90% of all species that have ever existed are already extinct. And the biologists will tell you, based on the current rates of extinction, we've entered the 6th great extinction. The question is whether we are going to be sensible enough to be one of the few species that actually transit through this period. So, I leave you with this question. Is there a path forward? It's possible. I won't tell you it's probable, but it's possible. It is possible because the human race, the species, we are determined and we are smart. And when we finally are willing to look at the truth, we actually will try to do the right thing. But we haven't got the time to be screwing around. Because every day we do makes it harder to find a path forward. And harder to find a path forward for lots of people. Every day, the window closes, the door closes. Fewer people will transit into the future because we have fewer options. So if you're going to hack, you're going to break something, please, make it count. Make it important. What gets me up in the morning and doesn't make me depressed is the fact that I have kids. And I'll be damned if I'm going down without a fight to to find a path forward for mine. How about yours? Hack away. Thank you.
I have no idea how one follows that.
Beer.
Beer is a good one. And, you know, Keith Richards is in for a fucked world, right? Unless we really do something awesome this weekend. So yeah, definitely. And I think that is part of one of the things of this weekend, as he said, hack for a purpose, right? This really is about, unlike any other hackathons that I think that most people have, this affects only those that live or work in a house or building or a part of the planet Earth, right? So just real quick, I always like to do a show of hands of how many people in here are more on the technology side. Okay, and then those that are on the built environment profession side. That's okay, you can raise your hand twice, don't be shy. Exactly. Okay, well great, and then how many people are not from Finland? Okay, a decent amount, awesome. Okay, well for those that have been to a hackathon before, this is the part where we won't keep you too long from beer, so that's why these are called lightning rounds. This is where you are incentivized to come up. If you are from the industry, come up and share a problem that you would like to tackle this weekend. Now, there are some challenges that were posted up on the Facebook group. We will also address those challenges tomorrow morning. And do you have a slide, Teemu, for the challenges?
I have one for the categories.
Okay, the categories, yeah, okay. So we will definitely go over those in detail tomorrow morning. But this is a time where I do encourage people from the industry, if you have a project that you want to work on, please come up and express that. Or if you are a developer, come up, feel free to share what your skill set is. This is also a time for the sponsors and some of the people that have brought some of their devices and other things to share, what their challenges are or some technology. Now, with that said, because, usually computer engineers are the most social people that will jump right up and say hello to everybody, I will kick this off by saying we do have the HTC Vive in the other room. Also, I have a Gear VR, if anyone wants to use this. I also have several Google Cardboards, if someone needs this. We have 10 Project Tangos. That in order to borrow one of these, I just need a picture of your ID, blood sample, and probably a child, because these need to go back to Google. And then also I have Elite Motion, if anyone needs. A hackathon is very much bring your own toys, but share them also. And then we do have some people from the Web3D consortium that if anyone has any questions about just 3D on the web, we can help there. So if you do want to pitch an idea, please just start a line over here, not all at once. And that's awesome, man. Finland has no problems in their construction or architecture engineering. This is great. You guys are very progressive. What do we have to worry about? What the speaker just talked about. So, if it is easier, just because you are kind of locked, just feel free to just stand up and shout out what you'd like to. So, yeah.
I think that's the shortest way.
Well, since you guys are locked, it's okay. This is not a. I assure you, in San Francisco, which you should come visit now because it's not going to be around much longer, we are not this formal. So if you want to, just feel free to stand up and shout it out. But yeah. And you know the purpose of lightning is quick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just good.
I'll just stop it about 2 minutes. 1 minute? 30 seconds?
Sure, why not? Lightning can strike twice in the same spot.
There are 3 files.
My Windows skills on the other. How about this, There we go. This is part of it. All right. So while he does pull that up, I will share. So as the AEC Hackathon, we do promote projects that are open source or support open standards. So there is a project out for a WordPress. So if anyone is interested in developing actually a 3D model viewer that supports IFC and is essentially it's a WordPress plugin for viewing the 3D building data, come find me and I'll share with you a little bit more about that particular one. It's not necessarily a challenge, that's something from the community. I'll turn it over to Arne.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Arto Nieminen, and I'm coming from the company called YIT. At least most of the Finns most probably know the YIT. We are quite a large construction company in Finland. We are also the largest foreign housing company in the Russian market. So we are pretty large. This is basically explaining where we are operating currently. We are very strongly involved in Scandinavia and Finland, Central Eastern Europe, and also in Russia. Turnover of the company is about 2 billion euros, and we are employing about 6,000 people at the moment. It's mainly in Finland, as you can see, and the second largest market is Russia. Okay. Maybe you can jump those over. Go, and the next one. Sorry, there are some Finnish words. But this is basically like you said, it's a lightning round, so we want to go directly to the point. So what we are looking from this hackathon is that we would like you to think about a little bit services which are related to easy and smooth living. And basically what we are expecting, we would like to have some services that are building up this kind of like a wow effect. Also, we are very, very interested to know that how to link the customers for those services as well. How we can compel them to use them. And we put it here some trends and future drivers. There are some physical world 24/7. We are also very much interested about the BIM, 3D modeling, visualization. We would like you to think about the ecosystems, how we are linking the people who are living in the house, people who are living in the, for example, in some of the city area, or in city itself, or some larger area. How to build up that kind of ecosystem where all those 3 or 4 different operators are providing services that are making people's life easier or at least smoother. There are some technology-related stuff as well that you can think about, and of course, sustainability as well. So it's very, very wide area. What we are basically targeting, we would like to see us also as a service provider in the future, not just concentrating for the building houses and offices, etc., etc. So that's basically our topic. And yeah, together we can do it. That's the slogan. So thank you very much. We have 3 people here, so if you have any questions, maybe you can raise your hands. We have Hanne Silveskoski here and Ville Teräväinen. They will remain here whole weekend. So if you have any questions, if you want to clarify something, please ask from those 2 guys. So thank you very much.
All right. And then just to keep things running smoothly and again to get people faster to beer 30, you don't have to applaud after everyone goes. And then go ahead and kick it off.
Hi everybody, my name is Pasi Jokinen. I am the CEO of Thingsy. Can I get a web browser running?
Sure, man.
I have not used Windows for a while. So Thingsy is a company creating developer tools for building new Internet of Things solutions, and we're providing the teams with these devices. This is called Thingsy One. We are going to change how IoT is built, or if you scrap off the startup bullshit, we provide you with a sensor device. So basically, Thingsy One is a device with great mobile connectivity. You can get data from anywhere. We're providing you with devices with mobile connectivity. So it's got a GPS, so you can measure location and get that data to your server, wherever your server is, and whatever. You can get motion or accelerometer information, whether it be vibration from a machine or a crash or whatever. It should take quite a lot of beating, so don't worry about the devices. They're waterproof and so on, so you can just do whatever you want. The orientation currently does not work, so don't try to use that. Temperature, humidity, air pressure, and the amount of ambient light. So the idea is that we have an easy-to-use web tool to configure what data you need. You can get that data on your server, on our servers. You can try to get that through a WebSocket from our cloud implementation, or just keep our cloud implementation and just get the data to your own server. So all the teams will be provided with these if you want to. So ask Jakob and Demo for devices. Mobile connectivity provided. Thanks, guys.
Very organized, I think.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Essi, I'm from Finland, and I'm very excited to be here to present briefly our challenge. I try not to take too much time. I think Mr. Orek's presentation was an excellent wake-up call for all of us, so also feel free to think in those terms if you're interested in our challenge. So buildings don't matter. What matters is lives. So construction as an activity should really revolve around people's lives and people's needs, and not the other way around. So what we've really been thinking about in Fira is that how can we inspire people to design better homes and better living spaces for themselves? How can we really inspire them? Because for an average person, a construction project or buying a new flat, choosing your own furniture fixtures to it, pipe renovation can be a huge hassle. It can be a very confusing project. You have all these regulations to take care of. You have different people to talk to, things you have to choose, materials, fixtures. And what too often happens is that people end up choosing the same white tiling for their bathroom, the same white cupboards for their kitchen, the same white living room, maybe because anything else is too risky or the whole process itself is too overwhelming. So we would really like to find a solution to making planning and decision making easier and more inspiring for people. Our customers, but also anyone who is in the situation of renovating their home. Doesn't have to be just for us. One of the solutions that we have been thinking about is this mobile showroom that we could place on the construction sites or also to the center of the city where people could come, see what's available, make their choices for their home, whether it's a new home or if it's like bathroom under pipe renovation. So people could benefit from this space to make their choices. So during this weekend, we would be really excited to see some solutions that tie into this and also solve some of the other associated challenges, such as inspiring people to really think what they need and what's good for them, decision making, how to connect surface materials and the real physical world to the 3D modeling and plans. How do you get that like feeling of wood or stone to a 3D model, for instance? How about communality? Can you share your plans with your neighbors or friends, get new ideas? So ideally, we are looking for a solution that would combine community, physical space, real materials, and then this process from inspiration to decision making. Because we all know that digitalization is obviously a huge trend. That's probably why we are here today, but also these changes in living, how people are really building a home that looks like themselves, a real lifestyle is also a big mega trend at the moment. But there hasn't really been any solution that would have really considered these two aspects and really come up with like a good solution for this. So we really believe in Fira that there would be very interesting opportunities in this, around these areas. So we are here at the green team over there. Please come and talk to us if you'd be interested in this challenge. We'll also be rewarding the idea that we think is the best. We'll reward each team member with a €100 gift certificate, and we would also like to schedule meetings after this weekend to hear your ideas and really make things in real life. So we're really looking forward to having something that we could implement together. And as I said, it doesn't have to be for us. It's even better if it's universal. So more information in Slack, #UX. And over there, Nico is your guy if you have any questions. He'll be present here. Thanks so much. We are so excited to see what you want to accomplish.
Can I go before you? I can go anywhere with my belly now. So, hello everybody. My name is Jana Bierska. I'm coming from a university, so I don't know if I'm one of the only researchers here, but anyways, from the Media Lab at Aalto University, and we are working at the moment on a big EU project which is focused on designing learning tools for the construction sector. So we're trying to find ways how people can share information between each other in the best way possible. The knowledge that is accumulated during their working lives, that is connected to a certain kind of an activity, an artifact, or a context. So I would really like to go to the direction of connecting already existing data, like open maps, for example, or open data, and how to integrate them somehow with augmented reality solutions. So I'm looking for more ideas and help to develop this. And if you are interested in these things, please find me. I'm easy to recognize. And thank you.
I think we have a few researchers in the audience, so maybe you could raise your hands. I've seen a lot of people from Aalto. So yeah, we're not alone here. It's all the way down. If you're looking for them. I have a very sensitive mouse.
Okay. I think I should use keyboards. So let's start again then. Hello everyone, my name is Mehmet. We are not representing any company, but we are the researchers also, same as from Aalto University. We are unemployed, so we create our job and couldn't solve. So we are looking for some team members to solve our problem also. So our challenge, actually we can give it a challenge, and our challenge is developing a mobile and BIM-based facilities management application. I know there's a really huge scope for these 2 days, but we believe that with you we can do that. And first, what is the motivation? So why do we do this? Actually, we just get some simple scopes, simple tasks, and think about the facility manager. I'm just looking for specific information around that. But I don't know where is it. This is just first building that I came, and I don't know where I am. So I want to see that where is my location inside the facility, and how can I see my location inside in a 3D model, and what are the things existing here? So behind the walls, behind the ceilings, whatever. And how do I get the information about all the things inside the space? And if I need to add some more detail to the existing data set, how should I, or how can I add this? Yeah, this is the some of the questions. And okay, how? Still we don't know, we are asking. But anyway, we have a kind of a small plan. So we try to build a mobile facility management application, which is a runtime system. And we wanted to use a location detector, a 3D viewer, and the 3D scanner. So we already have some experience last week in Netherlands, actually, in Eindhoven Hackathon. We already worked with an open source BIM server. So, but we are looking actually giving some more better, let's say, better user experience to the end user, and planning to use a kind of game time 3D environment. And we are planning to use this Unity and what's it? The Umbra, yeah. Unity and Umbra. Yeah. So okay, based on open source BIM server. And for location detector, we are planning to use Indoor Atlas. So
Indoor Atlas here.
Okay, whoever experienced, you can also join us.
Yeah.
And for 3D viewers, we can use by default the open source BIM server 3D viewer, but it is a little bit limited, we found. So we give some more better user experience. So we want to use Unity or Umbra. So whoever has an experience or wants to join our team, please contact with us. And the 3D scanner, we are planning to use Project Tango. So it will be a combination of these different platforms in one crazy common application, hopefully. And yeah, these are the logos. Where did you put this?
Okay, so we
more
just,
applications also. And okay, we are looking for team members and let's stack together. And my friend is also over there, Yurki. He's also in our team, so you are feel free to contact with us.
And Seppo.
Yeah, and Seppo is also. Right. Thank you.
Just quickly, I'm Sampo from Indoor Atlas. I'm late from over there, and I have tomorrow 15 half an hour of your time. That's also I don't take the time now. So Indoor Atlas is really here a navigation solution in order to pinpoint your location on a mobile device. So we bring the SDK for you to use this facility has been mapped already. It works here, and the testing is nice. And I hope that all of the developers kind of take that opportunity to check out our SDK and start developing applications with our location aware. So we bring the blue dot as a GPS coordinates indoors.
Hi everyone, I'm Otso from Umbra, and Umbra works on software to enable storing, streaming and rendering of really large 3D models and 3D data. And tomorrow we have a workshop and a demo here, but before everyone starts hacking, I want to mention that just last week we announced a new version of our product. It's still somewhat of a prototype and it's not publicly available, but we wanted to make it available for the Hackathon exclusively. So for the first time, it's actually usable like outside our office. So it's in a form of Unity plugin. So if you are working with Unity with your hacking project, please come ask us if you want to try out our new version, and we can maybe hack together something. And I want to show a video of what we can do with the new plugin.
And these guys co-spent half an hour last week.
Hi, my name is Vin. I'm a programmer at Umbra. I'm working on a new technology prototype that aims to solve the problem of visualizing very large 3D datasets in real time. Our new technology solves this problem by combining automatic generation of visibility, level of detail, and 3D content streaming into a single solution. Even in its early development phase, it can already produce very impressive results. This demo I have here is the 3D model of the city of Boston taken from Google Earth. This is our prototype implemented using Unity Engine. The original model is very large and does not even open without Umbra's help. To get the model running, we used our tool to Umbrify the original content. Our tool also supports transferring the work to our cloud backend instead of doing it locally. As you can see, not only we can now load this into Unity, we can actually render it in real time. The runtime performance here is well beyond the acceptable levels for virtual reality. Here is a top-down visualization of what the runtime looks like. The size of the colored squares tells us the level of detail that was chosen for that particular region. Our technology generates assets that are easily streamable from the disk or even from our cloud backend. Thanks for watching. Check out our website umbra3d.com for more information.
Thank you. And Vin will be here tomorrow, and if you want to try out the plugin, please go talk to Vin. And Farhad is also, you're going to be here tomorrow. So, yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Timo Metala. I am a project architect stroke project manager for City of Helsinki Real Estate's Premises Center. And the Premises Center job is basically to maintain, refurbish all the public buildings owned by the City of Helsinki and also do the new buildings, regardless of the size. We do small buildings, we do big buildings. We have about 2,000 properties, 3,000 buildings. And for the past 10 years, we've been using BIM technology for the design of our buildings. And when we look at all the data we've collected, at the moment it's somewhere saved on hard disks and drives, and maybe it's in some dark locked room, and we don't really use it. So what I'm here for is I'm basically looking for a new kind of an attitude, because what will eventually happen is that when we now start to refurbish an old building, which is like 30 years old, we have to go and find all the old drawings. And when we find the old drawings, we find out that they all out of date. And the same thing will happen with these BIM models if we don't use them actively whilst the life cycle of the building. So we brought here two relatively small buildings, a kindergarten and a youth center. And we're hoping to get some ideas how we could start utilizing them whilst we use the building. So we're talking about developing a new kind of a interface, as to say. So all those people who maintain the building would find it useful, and we could maybe get some value out of it, because at the moment I think the interface side of things is still a bit too tricky for people to use. It's still quicker to go there and see where the pipe is broken. So that's why I've got nothing here, because to show, because we actually have nothing. So I'm really hoping to get some good ideas. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Simon. I'm working at 720 as the Director of Product Development, and what we do is we measure the quality of indoor spaces and how does the space affect the people. So ultimately our goal is to improve people's life at the workplace specifically. You can check us out at 720.fi to get some more detailed information. We also have our sensors here for you to try out. We have some API open for, or created specifically for the Hackathon actually. You can check that out. I think the documents are in Slack in the IoT channel. And yeah, we have some sensors over here, mainly measuring air quality or different factors of air quality, acoustics and so on. And I think there's some more over there and on the 6th floor. So everywhere in this building, there's some locations for you to check out, including floor plans and sensor positioning, all of that stuff you can find on Slack. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask me, Simon at 720.fi, or just write us via Slack and we'll give you some support there as well. All right, thanks guys.
Okay, so I don't see anyone else lined up over there. We will do lightning rounds in the morning in case people have some ideas of projects, or we have one after all right?
All right. Yeah, I'm Thomas. I'm a developer.
and I had the misfortune of living in a moldy building in Finland, and I see all these great sensor solutions like the C thingy and the 720, and they're for buildings that already exist. And when I go around, when this new building is being built, like I drive around and it's raining and they just have all the materials there. And then people are going to move there and go, oh, it's weird, the air quality is not great. So what I want to do is I want to integrate these sensors and create an audit trail of the building as it's being built, put the sensors in the structures, have a camera, see what the weather's like every day the building's being built. So then later, if there's a problem, we can see, oh, these buildings that have these problems, before they put the roof in, it was raining that day. And that's my plan. Thank you.
Yeah, originally I hadn't planned anything, but I saw the good ideas here, and I thought, maybe something that the host can bring to the table as well. So we have a couple of tools that you can use during the hackathon. How many of you are familiar with Technical Structures Open API? Any non-developing on that? A few hands. So if you want to have a really good BIM tool to play around with, to extend, to work with Open API, I think we can make that available. We have BIM site that you can, if you want to check out the new models you are creating, feel free to download it and install it. It's free to use. And we also on Trimble level have a product called Trimble Connect. And there's a web API for that, so that's for storing and sharing BIM models. And also a good place to collaborate on. There probably have some other things that you can use as well, so feel free to contact me. And maybe a show of hands for the guys from Tekla who are here. So there are a few as well. Okay, that's it.
Rough audience for the home team. It's so just a couple more announcements. So one of the hacks that's on here is 3D cities, and so as the AEC Hackathon, again, people like our sponsors are allowed to come up here and pitch whatever ideas they want. As an organization, we really do, as I said earlier, strive to promote technologies that, yes, use all the things that you saw here, but either go open source to help the greater industry at large, or support open standards, existing open standards. And so for the 3D Cities hack, that challenge is going to be essentially one that takes either Helsinki data or city data and brings that into an open standards-based stack, essentially X3 DOM, WebGL, and essentially web languages. So it's kind of putting the 3D world in World Wide Web. And Anita over here, who's in from the US, raise your hand, Anita, because raise it high, because everyone, we'll definitely have more information about that, and also in her presentation tomorrow. So that is the 3D cities. And then also for the organization ourselves again, and these are the criteria, the best hack challenge. So this is the best hack that solves, it's just impressive, right? Someone said, hey, I took a virtual reality system, hooked it up to a thingsy thing, did indoor location with AR. But again, to solve a problem. So there's that. There is the best open source solution. And again, you can use any of the things that you saw, proprietary software, that doesn't matter, but again, the one that is open source. And then also there is a challenge for the solution that solves the biggest AEC problem. So the judges will be made up, not necessarily for the hacks that the companies pitched, because they are in charge of judging those, but for these, the judges will be essentially a mixture of technologists and people from the building industry. And then for plus marks, if you do incorporate more innovative technologies, not necessarily a piece of cardboard, but things like virtual reality, the tangos, and that type of things, those are extra points, right? So if somebody wheels in a KUKA robot and does something crazy with that, you get +1. So there are other ones on here that I do hope that the sponsors, and we'll post those up on the website as well. Other than that, anyone else want to say anything during the lightning round? Okay, great. Well, hopefully the beers are cold and in the other room. All right, that's the thumbs up. Yes.
Should I? I don't know. Yeah, you should.
I should. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit different thing because I don't have a hack to present really. My name is Janne Saarikko. I actually have worked with technology most of my life. I create firsts, and some 10 years back, I sort of like got into construction business, and after 3 or 4 years or so, I sort of like got fed up with it, everything, because we had made the greatest thing based on BIM on the world, and everyone told us that, guys, you're crazy, get out. So we did. Nowadays, I actually help startup companies. I see over 300 startup companies every year. My job is to understand whether it's any good, what they're doing, and then help them to get out to the market. So if you think I can help you in any ways, feel free to come and talk to me. Thank you.
Awesome.
Then before we go, anyone who has got the invitation to Slack already, please contact me or Jaakko. We'll invite you immediately. And then all the categories and discussion around them will be done on Slack. And there's also a Google Doc which lists all the available resources and so on. And if some of the resources that came up now, please go there and add them.
Anita, did you?
Yes, I just want to add one more thing. I think our category may be one of the only ones that's web-based. So our presentation is at 4 o'clock, which may be too late for any of you interested in hacking a web-based solution. As we all know that everything is going to the web now.